Yo, I've been stuck on both sides. I really don't know who to ride with. Someone to hold it down my side. Kick. Yeah, she always down the ride. Always stayed down even when I had a... Stop playing! Let me put it on Do Not Disturb. Hold up. Let the room fill as you're joining. Welcome to the Wind Down. Please make sure that you're liking for the algorithm and that you are sharing with a friend maybe. But yeah, as you join, make sure that you're liking for the algorithm. I may have to adjust this. How's everybody's evening going?
I know you feeling this. I know you feeling this.
Yo, share. Y'all know what it is. Welcome to the Wind Down. It's your boy. I got a new computer. I'm feeling good. Life is amazing. I lost a whole bunch of stuff on my old computer. I don't even care. That just gives me a reason to recreate in a better way. So that's the energy that we're on. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a great week thus far. And hopefully this can be a good little halftime to kind of reset for the rest of the week to knock out the rest of those goals. So as you're joining, please make sure that you're liking for the algorithm and maybe share with your group chat. I'm actually about to do that myself.
I know you feeling this.
Yeah. Man, I love that beat. Love that beat. What's up, everybody? Got the Wind Down. I got some, I don't even know what this is. Dude from Trader Joe's recommended this Monte Pulciano di Abruzzo, some Italian wine. I think it was like $5. He swore by it. Like, I'm like, come on. But first off, don't sleep on the $5 wine. Whole Foods used to have like a $3 bottle of wine. Y'all probably like, yo, he's a wino. But dude just, he saw me. I think I was telling him, I was talking to him about some other good wines. Wolfer Estates. They have that's the summer in the bottle. They actually had a new brand over there. And they actually are so popular. They made a non-alcoholic. Like, I think it's called Spring in a Bottle. I don't know. But we were talking about a bunch of different rosés and either bouncing all over the place. And then he's like, yo, I got this wine. You got to try. It's $5. I was like, all right, I'll try it. So here we are on second sip. I'm still looking. It smells cool. Not necessarily a full body. It's hard to drink that when you're used to the freak show. I'll be totally honest. It's hard to drink a lot of wines when you're used to the freak show. But it's I will say that for a $5 bottle of wine, it's not bad. It is not bad. So yeah, matter of fact, it's not bad at all. It is what it is. But all right, so what do we got today? I haven't even downloaded OneNote on my computer yet. Like I told y'all, I woke up. Well, I didn't even tell y'all. I woke up the other day after doing the show on Monday, had my computer open right here in this spot, actually. And before I went to bed, closed it, put it away. I'm not sure if I put the sleeve on it. Ursi always says you got to put the sleeve on it, but I'm inside. It's the AC. The doors haven't been open for a while. Separate issue. And then I woke up the next day, went to turn on my computer. I'm thinking something's wrong with the outlet. Oh, the power's not working. Computer won't turn on. So y'all know what it is. This is life. So therefore, I finally was pressed to get a new computer. So here we have it. Here we have it. So today, what are we talking about? Got Doug in the building. Good evening, Doug. How's it going? How was the camp this weekend? How was the camp? How was the game? I hope it went well. One day I'm gonna make it out there with you. I wasn't even in Jersey this weekend. I had to head back down. But what do we have today? All right, so we got a little bit on JD Vance, and right before I got on the call, I actually saw JD Vance say something about Tim Walz that I didn't like, but it is what it is. Maybe we'll touch on that if I remember. But we're going to talk about the importance of having a plan. We're going to talk a little bit. I'll be totally honest. We won't even focus too much. Like, I know the name of the show was Kamala Chooses Tim Walz, but it probably won't be too much on there. We got an interesting development from Kenya, where they've ended all divorce settlements. So we may touch a little bit on that. And we have some highlights from Kanye and Candace's interview. Candace finally put up the interview that she did 2 years ago with Kanye, the one that she was not allowed to do at the Daily Wire. So she ended up just recording it on whatever she had at home. And she finally released it today, or released it yesterday, I believe, or maybe Monday. I don't know. I just saw it, most of it today. And so far, so good. So far, so good. And then we have, so we'll probably finish off with that. Maybe some stuff on Instagram. But that is the main course. And Shy is in the building. What's good, Shy? All right, so Doug said the camp went great. That's amazing. Shy was good. What we drinking tonight? What we sipping? All that other good stuff. Water, tea, wine, some alcohol, some gin. What you sipping on? We got a lot to talk about. All right, so where do we start? Let's go to the notes. All right, so we'll start off on a little bit of a lighter note. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up my watch later. We'll start off on a little bit of a lighter note, because it's gonna grow as we go. And but there's some stuff that I did not like that I've been seeing around that I did not like. So here I wanted to show. JD Vance made a comment about cat ladies. Apparently, he made a comment about cat ladies, and apparently a lot of people were mad. Now, this is before he even got into politics. Nothing wrong with being held accountable to it, though. It says a lot about your character, I guess, or good, bad, whatever. We'll let the people decide. But I want to show the video, and use this as a wait. Why is that playing out of there? Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Hold up. All right. So it should not be playing out of there. Hold on. Let me ask y'all this. Hold on. When I share it, let me know if y'all can hear this. I'm gonna share the screen. Bear with me.
Government policy should
Can
be
y'all hear
more
the audio?
pro-family. Now, if the media wants to get offended about a sarcastic remark I made before I even ran for the United States.
Can y'all hear did y'all hear the audio on that? Just let me know, and then I'll move forward. Let me know, and then I'll move forward. You are screen sharing. Share. Audio subject. Background understood. Please ensure that you have used royalty-free music or have rights. All right, I understand. All right, so you guys can hear it. All right, for some reason, it's playing out of my actual computer audio, but it is what it is. We'll rock out. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal for me to make a little bit of an adjustment. All right, so let me do this. I want y'all to, so this is him responding to the comment that he made. So apparently JD Vance was talking about, I don't know, and he made the comment that this country, a lot of the women in there are turning into childless, not having any kids, cat ladies. So I said, you know what? Let's look into that. Let's look into what he says, his response to it. And then I got a quick little response to it.
What I said is very simple. I think American families are good and government policy should be more pro-family. Now, if the media wants to get offended about a sarcastic remark I made before I even ran for the United States Senate, then the media is entitled to get offended. You know what I'm offended by? I'm offended that normal Americans can't afford grocery prices. I'm offended that Kamala Harris opened up the American southern border and allowed fentanyl to come into our communities. And I'm offended that she wants to be the people's president, but she won't even answer tough questions. That's what I'm offended by. And I think that's what most Americans are offended by too.
All right. Bro, you ain't have to do all that. In my opinion. You didn't have to do all that. And let me actually preface it with this. I kind of was easing my way into all this. I've never been so disgusted in politics in my life. I've never been so disgusted in humanity in my life. And this particular election has brought it out. And it's not just the politics, but it's shout out to Sha. She on the down Julio. She let me know. But it's not just the politicians. It's the people. It's the people. This is a terrible place that we're in right now. It's just a terrible place, right? And it's not to be pessimistic or optimistic. It is just calling it exactly how we see it. And by the end of the show, hopefully you'll understand why I'm saying that. But maybe you can convince me, or maybe by the end of the show, I won't necessarily be feeling that. But why do I say like he didn't have to do all that? You didn't have to say that. You want to know why? Because let me go to this. Y'all remember this guy right here? Y'all remember this guy right here? The OG, the big homie. Y'all take a look at this.
You do what you're describing is you'll act right when you feel like it.
I don't
buy a dog, cat, die alone, because no man deserves to suffer you.
He didn't have to say all that, right? JD didn't have to say all that. Stand on what you say. Stand on what you say. And I just want to start it off with a little bit of a laugh before we get into some of the more serious topics. But it just reminded me of Kev Samuels. When I first heard it, and I heard people getting mad he said that these childish cat ladies or whatever. Yeah, so what? It is what it is. That's what most women end up doing. I've actually spoke to a lot of women where they say they don't even want kids. They just want their dog. They love their dogs. So what's the problem? What's the problem? But he looked a little weak, and I'll be totally honest. What it does is it brings out a lot of that flip-flopping that you've been hearing about him that we kind of addressed on the last show. But let me ask y'all this. Is this something that you're realizing? Because I know that we talked about it over the last couple of weeks. Imagine a football field. Down the middle, there's a 50-yard line, right? So let's just say that the Democrats are on one side and the Republicans are on the other side. So let's just say we're looking at it. The Democrats are on the left, Republicans on the right. It doesn't matter. You can switch it up in your head. It used to be, let's say, before things were so polarizing, because what ends up happening? The more extreme one side gets, the more extreme the other gets. So let's just say that the field was 50 yards by 50 yards. I mean, was 50 yards on one side, 50 yards on the other. What politics has become now between the Democrats and Republicans, in my opinion, is that football field that used to be divided in the middle of 100 yards, 50 yards on each side, has now, let's say, it's 1,000 yards. It's a 1,000-yard field with 500 yards on one side instead of 50 and 500 on the other. And what do I mean by that? It's because things have, what a Democrat used to be has just completely widened. The spectrum has widened because you've had people in the group that have gotten more and more extreme. So therefore, they are taking that 50 yards and extending it out well beyond that to 500 yards. and you have the same thing on the other side. So what ends up happening is, remember, the 50-yard line was in the middle. That middle, what determined the difference between Democrats and Republicans, those are the moderates. Those are the moderates that are real close together. And what I'm realizing that, and this is what I've kind of been saying it for the last couple of weeks, there is like a regime change or a shift. And this may be the last time that we have a strong two-party system. This may be one of the last times. And it's funny because I've been, wanting there to not to be a two-party system, because I think they control us when it comes to the lesser of two evils. But when you look at what a Democrat is, there are people in the Democratic Party that refuse to vote Republican, but are much closer to that 50-yard line, or what used to be the 50-yard line, that 500-yard line. There are much more people that are closer to the center of the field, let's say Democrats and Republicans, to each other, than they are even as close to their own party. That's where things have gotten so extreme. I'll be totally honest with you. As somebody who is I'm definitely independent. I'm definitely independent. And hopefully when I'm doing these shows and stuff, you can see that. Some of the stuff that the Democrats are pushing is just insane to me. And some of the stuff that the Republicans are pushing, it's insane to me. And for us to have to choose between one of those, it's almost like, yeah, I'd rather just jump. I'm going to take my chances. Like, they got the gun to your head. You on the side of the building. And, either you got to choose Democrats or Republicans. I'm looking down. It's only about 8 floors. If I do that, I think I'm going to jump. That's what it's really gotten to. It is almost impossible. Like, people, I've never looked at people who are voting either Democrat or Republican the way that I look at them now. Let's get into some of the show, and then maybe it'll all make sense. So some of the things that came up. Remember, we talked about Jamal Bowman and AOC, and I showed the video of them just acting all what I thought was, I know the new word is unhinged, but when they were going crazy on stage, going crazy. Now, they're a part of a group called The Squad. Apparently, they are a super duper progressive part of the Democratic Party. And I want to share with y'all, a couple different videos. So I'm going to need y'all to bear with me, because one of the Squad members, I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with Cori Bush, lost her Congress seat. So let's kind of get into that. And we are going to take a nice little journey, because this is what happens when, let's get into the videos. Hold on. What I was going to say is that now you would expect me, somebody who of this squad group, this quote unquote squad group, not a fan. I'm not a fan of AOC. I'm not AOC's biggest fan. I'm also not a fan of Jamal Bowman. I'm not saying that I hate them, but I'm definitely not a fan. And well, actually, me being not a fan is not really saying much, because y'all know what I say. Like, we shouldn't be fans of any of them. But I don't not that I dislike her or hate her, but I don't like AOC, or I wouldn't right now. I don't like Jamal Bowman. They do a lot of goofy stuff to me. It's just my opinion. But I want to share this video with y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think. And I'm gonna take y'all on a nice little journey.
Deep blue district in eastern Missouri, showing the door to progressive Congresswoman Cori Bush.
I miss her already. She's now the second squad member to be ousted by constituents who are fed up with the anti-Israeli rhetoric and the defund the police rhetoric.
Yeah, Israel.
Now, let me stop right there. This is where it's, for me, why I can't be a part of just one. The defund the police was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. It was legit one of the dumbest, most dangerous agenda items, or whatever they want to call it, things that you push It was just stupid. Made no sense, and it backfired on a bunch of people. Then on the other end, listen to how, now this is Fox News. So this is a conservative news station. Listen to how they will listen.
She's now the second squad member to be ousted by constituents who are fed up with the anti-Israeli rhetoric and the
who are fed up with the anti-Israeli rhetoric. I'm noticing that a lot of these conservatives, and I've been noticing it, a lot of conservatives, they have, and we showed it with the Netanyahu speech, they have completely done what a lot of politicians do. And I was going to just put it on them. They've sold out for a bag. I don't know what's in that bag. Just like we usually finish up the show. Hey, I don't know what's in your bag. Whatever. Could be money, could be integrity, could be. They've sold out for a bag. They've sold their souls for a bag. And what do I mean by they've sold their souls? It does not matter. Somebody could, when you say anti-Israel, bro, stop it. Knock it off. That is rhetoric that is harmful and stupid, in my opinion. When you have a lot of people that are just calling for, let's say, like a ceasefire, who are just calling to support Palestinians, but you have these people, these pundits that get on here, these conservative pundits, and they jump on and say, oh, anti-Israel. I guess I'm anti-Israel because I'm calling for a ceasefire. I'm saying that what is happening right now to Palestinians is horrendous. But that does not mean that you're anti-Israel. That means that you're anti-war, you're anti-killing, you're anti-Palestinians losing their lives for the acts of an extreme group. Just like, how would we feel? How would all of us feel? Wait, I think there's an example of it. Look at 9/11. Look at 9/11. Let's say 9/11 or a situation like 9/11 occurred. We are aware that America, we're not perfect. Like, we do a lot of extremely horrendous things in other countries, right? We're aware of that. So we're aware that we do horrendous acts of terrorism. You know, Barack Obama, the one that y'all love the most, I think he dropped more bombs than any other president in recent history. Y'all remember when Ben Carson was running? I always think about this. When Ben Carson was running for president, they were trying to say that he was kind of too soft and kind of too laid back. And at one of the debates, they asked Ben Carson, would you be okay with dropping a bomb and killing thousands of women and children? And I'm sitting here like, yo, why would they even ask him that? Like, I was so early, I was so naive, and I was just getting into politics. And I'm sitting here saying, like, why would they ask? No, he wouldn't be okay with dropping a bomb on. Who would be okay with dropping a bomb, killing thousands of women and kids? What part of the game is that? And then you start to realize, like, oh, we live in this little bubble over here. We live in this bubble where we're sheltered from things actually hitting the fan on our turf. So therefore, when a 9/11 happens, it's almost like one of those instances that just happens, and then it justifies us to just turn the other cheek when it comes to all the evil that we put out in the rest of the world. So let me get back to the point that I'm making. Imagine somebody doing something to us. These same people that are calling people anti-Israel, just because they do not want innocent Palestinians losing their lives, all right? It's gotten to a point where it's like, okay, we understand what happened. We need to figure out another strategy. And by another strategy, I mean a ceasefire now, and then figure out how to move forward from there. So when you have a group of people that are dying for the acts of a small group of people, terrorists, extremists, how do we feel about that? How would we feel if somebody came and did something to New York City or did something to right where you are, whatever city you're in? How would you feel like if somebody did something, a terrorist act to you because of something that a few extreme Americans did overseas? How would we feel about that? I was watching another Candace Owens interview with Dave Smith. And Dave Smith brought up the fact, he said that, you know, what ends up when you have these conversations with people, these and to me, they're mostly cowards that say stuff like this. But have you had a conversation about like either Russia, Ukraine, or Israel, Palestine, and somebody just says, yeah, man, well, it is what it is. War is hell. You know, war is hell. Terrible things happen in war. So then why are we pushing for it? Why are we allowing it? Didn't we just read Matthew 5:9 that peacemakers, like those are going to be the ones that are called the sons of God? Aren't we a Christian country? Don't we believe in Christian values? You get what I'm saying? So these are some of the things that I'm just questioning as I hear certain things like this. So just to be clear, if I was a fanatic, how most people are when it comes to politics, I would be celebrating the fact that Cori Bush, who's a member of the squad, y'all saw me come out here and roast her other teammates, Jamal Bowman and AOC. I would be celebrating the fact that she no longer has a position. But me not being a fanatic is allowing me to look at it with an objective standpoint and call out the BS that I hear that's happening around it. And the more I heard about her story, which you guys are going to hear, is that AIPAC, an Israeli organization, is spending, I didn't know this, they spent $12.5 million on Jamal Bowman. They gave his opponent $12.5 million, or donated to his opponent's campaign $12.5 million, or $12 million to him, and $8.5 million against her opponent. So let's just give you some context to think about as we go on with this video, because I'm not okay with it. Israel is not America. America is not Israel. And to my understanding, wasn't there something where when Donald Trump was first running that they were saying that it's Russian collusion when you have agencies or organizations outside of this country impacting the elections in this country? Oh, but I guess I'm only supposed to get mad when it happens to a candidate that I'm rooting for. But I'm supposed to be happy if it happens to somebody who I'm not rooting for. But that's the thing. I'm not rooting for any of these people. I'm just looking at it from afar and realizing, like, this ain't right. It's not right for an outside organization. AIPAC. Can somebody give me the because AIPAC is a acronym. Can somebody give me the full meaning of AIPAC in the chat? That'll be real helpful. We're going to keep
defund the police rhetoric.
Yeah, Israeli organization spent a lot of money to make sure she didn't win. Carly Shimkus is here with all the details for us. Hey, Carly.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Yeah, that's right. Bush lost last night's primary to St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell, who was the more moderate candidate. Bell defeated the squad member with more than 51% of the vote, bringing an end to a contentious and expensive House race.
This isn't just about campaigning and adults talking and negative messaging, but our kids are watching.
Yes, they are. Yes.
And what we say matters. This district is ready for better and more accountable representation in Washington, D.C. Progressives should actually make progress.
Bell getting the win thanks in part to the backing of several pro-Israel groups. Bush is now the second squad member to lose their primary after Congressman Jamal Bowman suffered a similar loss to a pro-Israel Democrat in New York. But the soon-to-be former Congresswoman says she's not going anywhere.
AIPAC, I'm coming to tear your kingdom down. And let me put all of these corporations on notice. I'm coming after you, too.
All right. This reminds me of, like, after a game when a team loses, or after like a boxing match or MMA fight, whatever, and the person loses and you give the person the mic or something like that. It's like you almost want it to be like, bro, like, why don't they let them regroup with their team, come back out for the post-fight press conference. You know, let them shower up, let them get their thoughts together. And the reason why I say it reminds me of that because it's very emotional. It's a very emotional response. And just me, I know when I'm emotional, I'm not being as logical. I'm not being as logical. Now, I'm not saying that she's wrong for anything that she said. If somebody decided to try to influence an election that I was in, and I'll be totally honest, some of the things that I was doing a little research on her, it seems that she really cares about her people. Even from me hearing the whole defund the police thing. Let me be very clear. I understand the emotions around defunding the police when you see a lot of situations occurring where police are killing unarmed Black people. I get it. I get it. I get the anger. I get the boycotting. I get the looting. I get all that other stuff. I get everything. But I also understand that from a logical standpoint, it's not doing anything positive. It's not changing any results. But if this is what she needs to do in order to do what she said she's going to do, AIPAC, I'm coming for you. Trust and believe. If I was in her position, I would be thinking the same thing. I would be plotting the same exact thing. This, in my opinion, should not be allowed. I don't know the rules behind it, but I don't like it. I don't like it. And I don't like that other candidate, Wesley Bell. I'm being totally honest. And y'all can call my bluff, call me, say I'm BSing, say whatever you want. If I was running against her and AIPAC came to me and said, hey, we want to donate $8 million or $8.5 million to your campaign. You know, we just, we're a fan of you. I'd say, nah, I'm good. I'd say, even if I sat down with them, come on now, we know what this is about. Since when you just want to give a random Black man $8.5 million for his campaign? You're only doing it, and see, this is the infighting. So now you got a Black man against a Black woman, and the Black man took a bag of money in order to do somebody else's job. It wasn't about him. And so I started to do a little research on him. And I didn't find any videos, but I found an article on NPR. He's a supporter of Israel. Now, I don't say that to say nothing wrong with being a supporter of Israel. I'm a supporter of Israel. To be totally honest, before the October 7th incident occurred, you go on my Instagram. I haven't deleted anything. Go look at the books. Go look at the rabbis that I'm with. If you looked at the three main religions that we adopt here, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, when you look at my friends, the people that I hang out with, like, you would probably say that I align more with Judaism and maybe more with Israel. But I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. If I like you as a person. It has nothing to do with me playing identity politics or identity friends. I'm never going to sell my soul in order to get a bag of money from anybody, no matter who it is, especially not a group that I feel is just giving me a bag of money because they hate my opponent so much. And I'm not going to be naive enough to think that a group is going to put up that type of money and not think that I'm in their bag, that I don't owe them anything. Nobody gets anything for free. So let me read a couple things. Hold on. I'll read a couple, give y'all a little background on Bell, but it really has nothing to do with Bell. Even though Bell acknowledged candidate opinions about Israel aren't the primary issue in the heavily Democratic district that includes St. Louis, he said he backs the United States providing support for the country after Hamas's October 7th attack. We want to see a peaceful resolution. I want to be part of the coalition that brings a peaceful resolution to that region, Bell said. But it is a tough situation. But in the meantime, we do have to stand by our allies. He's saying a lot but ain't saying nothing. I'm going to tell you exactly what he's doing. He's posturing in a way where he understands that he's a Democrat. He doesn't want to lose supporters that do say this a very sensible thing where it's like, hey, can we have a ceasefire and stop killing Palestinians? I think that's a pretty agreed upon, sensible thing to say. Humane thing to say. But when you say, but in the meantime, we have to stand by our allies. It takes everything. What do they say about when you apologize and then say, but? It removes everything that you just said before that. We know what this is about. Where are your principles, morals, and integrity? I'm telling you, I'm not taking that bag of money. You want to know why? Because it's supposed to be about the people. When you take, do you know what you can do with $8.5 million with a campaign? It's not, you could pretty much, I mean, it's the closest thing to buying votes. You're able to put more boots on the ground and do it. There's a reason why these people lost. I wanna, we'll watch a little bit more of this video, and then I got a couple other videos.
We will keep supporting a free Palestine, a free Congo, a free Sudan, and keep opposing genocide and human rights abuses worldwide.
Bill will face off against either Republican Andrew Jones or Stan Hall in November. The GOP primary has not been called, but Jones is currently leading by just under 200 votes. So that's a close one, guys. Over to you.
All right, so let's move on to this next video that I want to show y'all. This is what this issue is about. And my dad wrote American Israeli Political Action Committee. AIPAC is the American Israeli Political Action Committee. I'm not okay with them being involved to that extent. And I don't think, and this is the thing, see, remember that I mentioned that there's another component to this. You just got in, you just made a messier situation between a black female candidate and a black male candidate. Let me ask y'all this. Do you think that a black organization would be able to do the same if the roles were reversed? Do you think that a black organization with a lot of money could go to, a Jewish person and say, hey, we don't like that other Jewish person you're running against. We need to make sure we don't like that other Israeli person you're running, however you want to put it. So therefore, we're going to give you a bag of money. We're going to support what you got going on. Y'all think that would work? I don't. I'm not taking a bag of money. I'm already going up against somebody that, when you think about the dynamics just between black men and black women, there's already a lot of tension there. I'm not allowing another group to come in and put more fuel on that fire. I'm not allowing it. And shame on Wesley for allowing it. And let's look at, so when I was doing my research on this particular topic, a couple other issues came up. Somebody was like, hey, didn't a situation happen in Michigan where a couple people came out and said that AIPAC was trying to bribe them with $20 million to go up against the person, what's their name? Rashidi? I forget. Let's look at the video. Let me see if I can find the video. Let's take a look at the video. I'm sure they could better explain.
And now they've said that they're going to spend even more money going forward. And we see these.
Interesting.
All right, let's talk about some domestic politics here. This is stunning. This is brazen, even for the pretty brazenly typical corrupt state of American politics. You now have two candidates who are right now in the Democratic primary for Senate in Michigan who have been offered separately $20 million by a donor to drop out and primary Rashida Tlaib, who of course has come under incredible fire for her public stance in favor of Palestinians and Palestinian humanity and calling for.
So just to be clear, this is my first time hearing about Rashida Tlaib. I never heard about her before. I didn't know whether she was black, whether she was white. Apparently she's a Palestinian woman. And she's been calling, I guess, for a ceasefire as a Palestinian woman. See, I respect Palestinian people standing up and calling for a ceasefire to protect their family back home. Israelis are respected for the same thing, right? For standing up for their people back home. What I do not respect is putting money up just to try to get people out of office because they do not agree with how you're going about getting your get back or whatever it is, trying to get the hostages back, whatever it is that we're saying it is, the situation is now. That's what I don't respect. Bribing people on the low, and let's just keep going.
For a ceasefire. Let's take a listen to, we actually talked to this candidate, Nasser, on this show recently about how he was approached and offered $20 million to drop out and primary Rashida Tlaib. Take a listen.
I was offered $20 million to withdraw from the senatorial race and run against my friend Rashida Tlaib. The pro-Israel lobby will go to any length to remove anybody from the U.S. Congress that has any opposition to their agenda and their total, unequivocal support for.
Let me stop it right here real quick. A couple things stood out. He said he was bribed to go against his friend, Rashida Tlaib. This man said, nah. He didn't do what Wesley did. See, Wesley in that article, I didn't feel like reading the whole article, but Wesley in that article, he's like, well, they donated, but the main issue among our public in St. Louis is not, Israel and Palestine. That's not the main issue. Yes, but you were given that money to push in whatever area and direction you want to push it in. But he's trying to downplay the impact that money had on him winning that election, winning that primary. Let's be very clear. Hold on. Hold on. In the case of Jamal Bowman and what's her name? I'm sorry. Cori Bush. These were primaries. This type of money, $20 million combined, was spent in primaries. In a primary, you're going against another Democrat or somebody else in your party. That is the type of money that was being spent in a primary. If I was the guy, Wesley, I would have said, you know what? I'm going to win this primary on my own. I appreciate the money. I appreciate the amount of the 8.5 that you want to donate to my campaign. Hold on that. Let's hold that check until after I win. And then after I win, I will gladly accept that 8.5 million to put into the community in order to uplift in this area, this area, this area, this area. That would have been the respectful thing to do. But what do people just want to do? People just want power. People will do any and everything, will compromise any principle, morals, values, integrity that they have in order to win. And let me be very clear. This is the environment, the political environment overall. This is the 99.99%. This is the norm. People just moving on principles and integrity. Those are the exceptions. This is the place where we've gotten. Nobody cares about anything. Nobody cares about principles. Nobody cares about just doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. There is no standard. The only thing that matters is winning and getting power.
Israel, and run against my friend Rashida Tlaib. The pro-Israel lobby will go to any length to remove anybody from the U.S. Congress that has any opposition to their agenda and their total, unequivocal support for Israel, good, bad, or indifferent. We need to make sure that money is not the main catalyst to get people elected, because the pro-Israel lobby is only tool, and what they use to threaten politicians is the amount of money they're going to spend against them or for them.
Can I ask you a question? What's the difference? Like, isn't this the stuff that we hear about in third world countries and stuff? Like, oh, they bought the election, they bullied the election. Like, this is America. Like, that doesn't mean anything? Or is it what I said earlier, that as long as it's in the team that you're a fanatic of, as long as it's in their favor, you don't care? How is this not a bigger issue? I'm so surprised and disappointed that I was not aware of this. When was this? Hold on. This occurred 8 months ago. This video came out. Maybe I'm lost. Are y'all aware that this happened? Maybe y'all are aware that it happened and I just was somewhere else. I don't know. But how is this not a huge issue? Because if it was instead of the AIPAC, and if it was a Russian group, or if it was a Chinese group, there would be a totally different type of energy around it. Yes or no?
America, let's come together and elect people who truly represent our values.
So the other candidate was a gentleman named Hill Harper. Put this up on the screen. Another Senate candidate in Michigan who Politico originally got this report that he was offered $20 million to drop out.
Shout out to Hill Harper. So Hill Harper is actually a former actor. I'm gonna try to bring up a picture
and run against Rashida Tlaib. He confirmed the story. He says, I didn't intend for a private phone call to turn public, but now that it has, here's the truth. One of AIPAC's biggest donors offered $20 million if I dropped out of the U.S. Senate race to run against Rashida Tlaib. I said, no, I won't be bossed, bullied, or bought. One of the crazy things here, too, by the way, and AIPAC denies, I should add, he says the group was absolutely not involved in any way in this matter. Our records indicate this individual has not contributed to AIPAC in over a decade. So that's their side of the story. But one of the really crazy things about this, Sagar, is that both Hill Harper and Nasser Beydoun, they both are like calling for a ceasefire and standing up for Palestinian civilians being killed right now. And I think the idea is just, you know, they know with Rashida Tlaib that she is a tireless advocate. They know she's outspoken. They know she's been a leader in this moment of calling for a ceasefire. I mean, she's Palestinian American here. And so they sort of feel like, we don't care who it is. We'll take anyone other than Rashida Tlaib because of her dedicated commitment on the issue.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to stop there. We're going to stop there. And for whatever reason, as I'm going through my notes, I'm realizing that the energy is still going to be there. And when I say there, you guys don't understand what I mean. This is an issue. It's a problem. But this is Hill Harper. I'm not sure if you guys remember him from any acting roles, but I remember him from a bunch of different things. He was always a cool, smart, well-dressed dude in a lot of these roles. What movies did he play in? Hold on. Oh, he was in He Got Game. Matter of fact, that was the young, yeah. Matter of fact, hold up, he was in Too Deep. That was LL's right-hand man, the one that would do everything for him. All right, neither here nor there. You ain't no cop, Jay Reed. Yeah, y'all didn't watch that movie. All right, so I want to move on, stay in somewhat of a similar place, but I want to move on to Kamala. I want to move on to Kamala and Tim Walz. We got to talk about it, right? Kamala chose Tim Walz, and I was not very familiar with Kamala and who she was thinking about. Apparently, there was a guy named Shapiro, and as I'm looking at these videos that I just showed y'all today, a bunch of these other videos with why Kamala decided to choose Walz over Shapiro, and some of this stuff came out. So let's just take a look at it. Let's see what we think. But apparently that Shapiro was overlooked, and one of the reasons why he was overlooked is because he's Jewish. And total side note, which I people make decisions what they want, but Did y'all know that Kamala Harris's husband is Jewish? And y'all may be looking at me like, well, what does that matter? Well, it matters that she's black, right? It matters that all I hear about is her being a woman, right? So why can't that matter as well? Did y'all know that? Okay. All right. So let's move on here. And you guys tell me your thoughts.
Shapiro's a Jew. But you and I both know, and Rich knows too, they're not going to say Shapiro's a Jew. But you and I both know, and Rich knows too, there is no way that wasn't an important factor in his rejection.
Honestly, Megan, some of them are coming out and saying it, right? And the thing about Josh Shapiro is he's not just a Jew. He's an observant Jew. He keeps kosher, right? This is a person who has a deep connection to his Jewish heritage. Of course, that was not the reason to pick him. The reason to pick him was he could have delivered the one state Kamala Harris absolutely needs to win in order to win the presidency, right? So on the one hand, you have the guy who could deliver the one state she actually needs in order to win, right? And on the other hand, you have somebody who is a far left progressive, as you said, who, what's his big claim to fame? He coined the term weird for J.D. Vance. So obviously she went with Tim Walz. I mean, it's so amazing, Megan. And there is simply so little effort being put by the far left progressive wing of the party to mask the fact that this was simply about Josh Shapiro having a strong, proud Jewish identity and opposing anti-Semitism on college campus. They have been explicit about this, and the Democratic Party has caved to the anti-Semites. That is what we're seeing here.
She's a problem. I don't know who she is, but she's a problem. The Democratic Party have caved to the anti-Semites. That word, those two words, anti-Semite. You know what this reminds me of? Maybe this is why my dad always texts me after shows and says, hey, you know, you shouldn't use hate. You shouldn't use, you know, this strong language to describe this. You shouldn't make fun of Joy Reid's wigs. And I say, yeah, Dad, I know. I get it. I know. And right, Dad, I say, you're right. Right. All right. So, but this reminds me of a conversation that I saw with Dave Smith. And he was talking about how there was a moment for him after Donald Trump was shot that summed up everything. And that just kind of put things in alignment for him. And it was right after he was shot, Biden reached out to him. I think Barack Obama and Michelle, they said something nice, hoping for a speedy recovery. I think Kamala may have said something nice. A lot of people on the Democratic side. You saw a lot of news pundits, even some of the ladies on The View. But if Donald Trump was all of those things that you called him, when you hear people say he's literally Hitler, he's literally like Hitler, whatever that is, whatever that means. And I didn't even look at her neck and see the necklace on her neck until just now, but it makes sense. But when I heard those very same people, Barack, Biden, Kamala, Michelle Obama, coming to Donald Trump's aid and saying, hey, there's no place in politics for this. You know, we're hoping for a speedy recovery. Just had a nice conversation with Donald Trump. If he was really Hitler, if he was really all those negative things that you say about him, terrible things that you say about him, and if him being in office is going to lead to all those terrible things that y'all always like to throw out there, why would you care? Why would you wish him a speedy recovery? And that's my point. We use a lot of extreme words because they sound good on TV, because they get people attached emotionally. They help with the propaganda. They help with painting a picture of this villain that we're looking to paint. They help with the fear mongering. They help with the hatred and divisiveness. They help with all these things. They help get more eyes on the TV screen. But they don't really mean it. Meanwhile, you have the people that just hear these influencers saying these things. And by influencers, I mean like the Baracks, the Bidens, the Kamalas, the news pundits, the people that have an influence on us. So meanwhile, the people that hear them saying these words, we don't have that filter. We don't take it to heart. I mean, we don't take it with a grain of salt. We take it to heart. How do you think you have somebody that took a shot at the president? Whether you think it was an inside job, outside, whatever. Why do you think that you have people that want to do harm to these politicians? It's because of what their rivals say about them. It's because of the type of rhetoric that is used to describe them. You're scaring the heck out of people. You're creating the division. You're creating the hatred. But they don't really mean it. They just benefit from it if you feel that way. They don't care. So when you hear somebody like her say that the Democratic Party caved in to the anti-Semites of the party, that's too much for me. That's too much for me. And it's so funny how, there used to be a thing where, I know now it's changed, but there used to be a thing where you actually did not want to say, oh, this is happening just because I'm black. It's almost like, yo, you playing that race card again? Now it's just like, yo, just play it. You got an unlimited amount of race cards to play. Before, it used to be a little bit different. It's like, oh, yeah, here you go. You think everything happens to you just because you're black, right? It was kind of a little bit of a different feeling around it, different dynamic. But now, because somebody says something that doesn't align with this woman's values right here, as she wears her Star of David, I'm going to assume that she's Jewish or an Israeli supporter, whatever it may be. Now they're anti-Semites. And that's what a lot of Republicans and conservatives have done when it comes to people who just don't agree with them, supporting Israel and our tax dollars supporting Israel and destroying thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent Palestinians. You could say that, oh, it's for this reason, but you're still destroying thousands, killing thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent Palestinians, unless you don't really believe in your heart that they're innocent. Unless you don't believe that these Palestinians are innocent, how could you be okay with what's going on over there? Why would you want to call somebody who just is like, yo, I don't care what, this side says this side says this, stop. I'm an anti-Semite for saying stop? This is the problem with all this name calling. This is the problem. This is why I say, like, this is the worst place. This shows the worst. I've never been this just disappointed in humanity. Like, just when you look around, disappointed in myself. I'm a part of humanity. How did we get to this point? So now let's just say, for instance, that Shapiro wasn't picked, because they made a strategic decision to go with somebody else because it looked like, oh, this would be, we may lose some of these type of followers if we don't. Ma'am, you do know that we showed video on the last show that Kamala Harris was only brought on because she was a black woman. So that means that somebody else lost the position because they were what they were. Kamala gained the position because she was a black woman. That means there may have been a qualified white guy, qualified white woman, qualified Indian woman, qualified Indian, whatever it may be, who lost their position and who didn't get brought on because Kamala was a black woman. Now, did people run around and say like, yo, you're anti this or anti that? I don't know. And when you have a word that is as sensitive as anti-Semite, especially given the current state of what we're going through right now, especially considering that they just passed a law, an anti-Semitic law. Like, why would you use that type of rhetoric? Now, let's say that she's right. I mean, I don't see how you could just call a whole cave to the anti-Semitic people. I don't agree with that. You can't say that everybody's anti-Semitic just because they don't agree with your views on Israel and Palestine. So let's actually just keep listening for a little bit, and we'll get everybody's thoughts.
Have here Karen Attiah of the Washington Post, who has been one of the nastiest commentators on the Israel-Hamas war. She was celebrating in the streets once Israel was attacked, long before they really began their retaliation campaign. She was one of the people who liked, this is what decolonization looks like within a day or two of the attack. Columnist for the Washington Post. She's thrilled about Governor Walz. She tweeted out, looking forward to Walz donkey stomping Vance in a VP debate. Walz is full of persona, charisma, experience, and authenticity. Vance is a shape-shifting, woman-hating, weirdo sellout. He's going to tap out in 46 seconds like that weepy Italian boxer. I'm here for it. LFG. Do you believe that? So she's got it all in there. Rich, this is classy. Washington Post. Just so thrilled they didn't go with that other guy who was somehow weirdly objectionable, the governor of Pennsylvania.
This is just mind-boggling because obviously Pennsylvania is the whole ballgame, right? Trump's not winning without it. She's not winning without it. 10,000 votes could matter. I don't think picking Shapiro would have delivered Pennsylvania, but it potentially could have helped 10,000, 20,000, whatever in a narrow race that could be decisive.
All right, bro. We're going to, if it's okay with you, bro, we're going to move on. I wanted to show y'all this other clip on the same issue, but this is more of a conservative show. I want to also show Chris Cuomo. Hold on 1 second. I want to show this other side. So, and there was something there was a video that came up in this one, the one that I was talking about with JD Vance, that I did not like. Now, as soon as you hear Chris Cuomo talk, you'll know he's on that side, or he's more of a liberal leaning guy. It is what it is. We hear the conservative side, got to hear the liberal side.
Walz, governor of Minnesota, is Kamala Harris's choice as her VP running mate. The Democrats think they took a step towards winning, and the right thinks it's a leap to the left. So what do you think? Let's get after it. Overwhelmingly, Democrats call Walz a good choice, or at least a safe choice to me. Now, those two mean very different things to me, and they both warrant our attention. First, here's what works with Walz. He's a governor. He's popular, certainly more so than Harris or Biden or Trump or Vance in his state. He's over 50%. He's a veteran. He has a teaching and farming background. He's a 60-year-old Midwestern white male who has a compelling personal story that involves traditional Americana. He's well-versed in fixing cars. Videos like the one that hopefully they'll put up here, which has him scolding a car maker, Chevy, I think, for maybe it was Ford, I don't know, but for a bad part. And then he tells you how to fix it and how much it'll cost. It's a marketable commodity, certainly for guys like me. And he also has a great connection to a major issue, the need for reproductive rights that were taken from women, as he and his wife used IVF to conceive their 2 children. Now, as I've said, if women make their witness in this election, Trump is in trouble. So Walz is measured, likable if not well known, knows politics and policy, served in several offices in state and federal office, many years. The knock? He's a radical lefty, radical as Harris. He said one person's socialism is another's neighborliness. Now that can be twisted. But the attacks are going to take some effort, as we heard from Trump's lap and attack dog, J.D. Vance, today.
My view on it is it just highlights how radical Kamala Harris is. This is a person who listened to the Hamas wing of her own party and selecting a nominee. This is a guy who's proposed shipping more manufacturing jobs to China, who wants to make the American people more reliant on garbage energy instead of good
Y'all heard what he said? This moment right here, y'all just heard me say that I found JD Vance relatable based on some of the comments that they were bringing up about him. I'm on the last show. It's a terrible statement. A terrible statement. Did y'all hear what he said? The Hamas side of the
Kamala Harris is. This is a person who listened to the Hamas wing of her own party and
who listened to the Hamas wing of her own party. If Trump doesn't address that, if he doesn't apologize about that, absolutely nothing's going to happen for the masses. But what it should do is to show us how divisive, how split, how much hatred there is in our country right now. No matter who wins. We are using situations that did not even occur in our country, that are not even occurring in our country, to completely tear apart our country. This man just said that they listened to the Hamas wing of their party. The other lady, I had a problem with her, and she said they listened to the anti-Semites in the party. This man just said that they listened to the Hamas. When you say all those things that I told you I found relatable, when he said after I think Mike Brown was killed, man, I can't stand the police. I hate the police. Like, I can only imagine what black people feel. I found that relatable. When you said, like, Donald Trump, like, this guy's terrible racist or whatever he said, when he said it, I found that relatable because I was saying the very same thing at that time. When he said, oh, if only Trump could just ease up with the racist rhetoric, I'd be a fan of this guy. I understood what he was saying. I found it to be relatable. Now, maybe I found it to be relatable because I didn't necessarily see it as racist rhetoric, but I found it to be relatable based on the things at the time, based on the propaganda, based on when they were trying to put out the Charlottesville situation, when he said there's good people on both sides, which we obviously have shown on this show. It did not occur like that. That's why I can understand, and I found it relatable. But when you say all those things and you got your Indian wife, you know, it shows that, you know, okay, multicultural dude. Okay. If let me not say that. Okay. Boom. But then when you say this, the Hamas wing of the party, I am convinced now at this moment that he is an extreme flip-flopper. And the very things that I pointed out with Wesley, the very things that I pointed out with Kamala, the very things that I pointed out with a lot of other politicians that I do not particularly care for how they go about gaining support. He's doing the same thing. He looks like the uncool kid right now who's trying to say something extreme that he thinks the rest of the cool kids are saying, and he just looks like a fucking idiot. The Hamas wing of the party. How do we allow these politicians to say these things? How do we allow these people to be the people that we're choosing to vote for? It seems like we had a better voting process in middle school and high school. Like, I'm not saying that it should ruin y'all days, but does it not show y'all exactly what I'm saying? Like, this is the worst I was going to say it's the worst representation of us as a people of America. But in all actuality, maybe it's the most accurate depiction, the most accurate representation of who we are in America. Are we a stupid group of people? Well, when you look at how we live lives and the decisions that we make, I think I could find, I'd rather, if I was on a debate team, a debate club, I'd rather be on the side that was arguing that we are a stupid group of, that Americans are a stupid group of people. I'd rather be on that side of the argument. Do we use racist rhetoric, victimhood? And that's the same thing. See, this is the, you notice how, and I'll be the first one to say it, that I always call Democrats like the victim party. The victim party. But what did that lady with the Star of David on her necklace? Oh, they just caved to the pressures of the anti-Semites. Bro, stop trying to use triggering rhetoric because you're mad that the candidate that you were rooting for did not win. That's being a victim. Get over it. Do better next time. Spend more money, right? Right? I should show y'all another video because, as a matter of fact, I should have showed another video talking about the other situation with Wesley versus, what's the lady's name? The one that lost that we were just talking about. I forget. Corey. I think it's Corey. I don't know. I forget her name. But there was another video and the newscaster, one of them was saying like, oh, I feel bad for her. You know, she pretty much lost her position just because, you know, she had to compete against $8.5 million that was put up by AIPAC. And the gentleman that was on the show with her, Robbie, who's on the Hill, yeah, you know, so what? Get over it, right? So why don't y'all keep that same energy? They cave to the Hamas side of the wing, bro. Knock it off. You'll have a chance to debate them. Just win the debate. People using this type of rhetoric, these politicians and these influencers, these people that we look up to and these people that we are fans of, they are destroying our country and we are allowing it. This man let me just keep going.
Selecting a nominee. This is a guy who's proposed shipping more manufacturing jobs to China, who wants to make the American people more reliant on garbage energy instead of good American energy, and has proposed defunding the police just as Kamala Harris does.
Now, it's not about the points that he makes. Hold it there. I make those slights because he's a hypocrite, because he changed what he really believed so he could get elected. That's just the truth. He can explain it any way he wants, but only one thing changed. He needed to win that three-way race. Trump backed him, and now this is who he is. That's the choice the right made. You're also going to hear that Walz allows migrants free health care. But that and most of his policies, you may like them, you may not, but they're in line with most Democrats. The big flashpoint was his leadership in the...
Which I have a problem with. See, this is the thing. Even though most people walk around as if, no, I'm going with Trump. No, I'm Team Kamala. Anybody but Kamala. Anybody but Trump. Even though people walk around as if it's black and white like that, we would be better off if we actually broke down the issues, broke down the policies, broke down why are you with this person? Why are you not? Because I don't see how you can just go in and agree with everything that the Democrats say. Or just, even though people try to argue everything that their party, that they're a fan of, you can't possibly agree with this stuff. So why argue it? Because, and the reason why I say you can't possibly agree with it, because it's all a big, like, it's a contradiction. It's a contradiction. Like on one end, you can't be, super Palestine and, forget that. And then wonder why people are upset that you're letting people in across the border and it's taking away tax money from actually that could go to American citizens. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you can't just, the arguments don't They're not consistent. They're not consistent argument. It's not based on principles. It's not based on, okay, this is what I believe in, so therefore let me apply this principle to this particular topic and see what I come away with. It's just, yo, what side we on? Yo, which one are we arguing? Oh, we on this? I bet. Yeah. All right, we're good. It's literally, oh, what side are we on today? Oh, so we were defund the police. Now we're okay. So defund the police, but okay. All right, we're good. We're good. And that's how we move about things. It's a very uncomfortable, disgusting way of going about things. And to be totally honest, I'm getting a little bit just worn out having this conversation. I'm getting worn out for a lot of different reasons and getting a little bit annoyed. I'm gonna be totally honest, because I just don't see how we're in this position and there's not enough people using their voices to express that they're not okay with this. But the positive takeaway with all this is, and let me move this screen, hold on. The positive takeaway with all this is that with chaos comes opportunity. The Republican Party, and this is why I said earlier, this may be the last time that we have a two-party system, a true two-party system. This may be the last time. Why? Because once Trump is out of there, I don't know if MAGA is aligned with the conservative Republican Party. I don't know if those squad members, the Jamal Bowmans, the AOCs, the lady that we showed earlier from St. Louis, I don't know if they're aligned with the rest of the Democrats. I don't know. And it's very interesting how a lot of these topics that the groups are being split on do not even occur in the country. We're allowing our country to be split over things that are not even happening in our country. I understand that the abortions are still issues and stuff like that. I honestly think when it comes, well, I don't know. But I want to take a little bit of a turn here. And I put a bookmark. Hold on. Ooh. I put a bookmark. And I want to show y'all a piece of this interview between Kanye and Candace. Hold on one second. Hold on. I want to pull this up. Boom. Already got it queued up. Look at that. 33. All right, that's where it is.
A rhyme like common sense, but I did 5 mil, and I ain't been rhyming like common sense.
So this is the part of the interview where, and as you can see, it's very low budget. This was like late night with them. They're just at I think they're just in Candace's basement, because this is when Kanye put out that tweet, I'm about to go DEFCON 3 on whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And the Daily Wire was not comfortable with Candace Owens interviewing Kanye on their platform because they said that she wouldn't give enough pushback because Kanye is Candace's friend. I believe this may be the same day that they both ended up wearing those White Lives Matter t-shirts. I want y'all to just take a look at this, because and I don't know how all of this stuff connects, but these are just kind of the things that kind of came together for me today. We talked earlier about Wesley and the other. First off, let me get her name. My fault, because I feel very bad. Squad member loses St. Louis. Let me see. Cori Bush. Okay, Cori Bush. I got you. My apologies, Cori. But we talked earlier about how Cori Bush, black woman, and then you had Wesley. Hold on, what's Wesley's last name? I don't know. Wesley Bell, right? Was it Wesley Bell? All right. Where Wesley Bell, in a heated heated primary, right? Heated primary. We talked about how a lot of people sell their souls and sell whatever they need to sell in order to increase their power, move to a different position, whether it's J.D. Vance. We've talked about Kamala. We've talked about a lot of different people in politics doing this. I want y'all to just listen to this and tell me what y'all think.
On shuffle. And geez,
Man.
yeah. But I just wanted where I want to go back to though, with the two things I want to say.
If you are a Jay-Z fan, please. If you are a Jay-Z fan, please listen to this.
So first off, when I was coming on the plane, my podcast was on shuffle, and Jay-Z song came on. It was dun 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 dun. He says, "Oh, I know what it was." He says, "I dumbed down my audience to double my dollars. They criticize me for it, yet they all yell holla. If skills sold, truth be told, I'd probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. Truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I did 5 mil, and I ain't been rhyming like common sense. When your sense got that much in common, and you've been hustling since, the only perception for perception go with what makes sense. Since I know what I'm up against, we as rappers must decide what's most important, and I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So I got rich and gave back. To me, that's the win-win." And I was just so stunned. I ran it back.
Jay-Z just acknowledged that he's a sellout and just gave certain justifications around it. Whenever I look at the current state of anything, I've now trained myself to look back years before as far as to find the cause, the root cause of this. Like anything that we're experiencing right now with this generation or where we are right now, wherever we are, is based on things that may have been introduced to us or an environment that we may have been in 20, 30, 40 years ago. We were groomed and indoctrinated to think the way we think right now, to believe what we believe, whether it's religious, spiritually, economically, how we think about finances, everything. We were groomed. We were groomed. There's a reason why I love Dame Dash, and really, I can't stand Jay-Z. I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm not saying I hate the man. I'm not saying I don't like. There's something about him that really bothers me, and it's because if a community all makes decisions like Jay-Z, in my opinion, it will lead to hatred, division, people stabbing each other in the back, all these type of things. Here you pretty much, I don't know if y'all heard the lyrics, but he pretty much said, yeah, I dumbed down my intelligence and the game that I could give to the people that buy my music. I dumbed down the message that I'm giving y'all. Like it's almost like, let's say you have a plate of food that's organic, a lot of vitamins, a lot of nutrients. I'm going to dumb this plate down, give you all unhealthy things, the candy, the sugar, the salt, because that's what you want more. And it's a little bit less risky for me. So I'm going to give you that. But I'm going to make a lot of money off of that. And with the money that I make, I'll give y'all a little something. I'll pay for a funeral here and there, maybe a documentary here and there, so y'all can act like y'all could think that I mess with y'all. That's what he admitted to doing. This is the culture that we are living in. This is the culture that we celebrate. These are the people whose words we listen to and take heed to them as if they're words from God and the Bible. And we wonder how we got to get exactly where we are. Could you imagine Malcolm X saying, yo, I'm dumbing down this message and giving y'all some poison just so I can make a little bit of bread. But don't trip. I'll throw y'all some crumbs on the way out. This is why they had to get rid of cats like Malcolm and Martin. This is why they had to get rid of a stand-up, strong, courageous, fearless Malcolm X, well-dressed, respectable, the most disciplined man I've ever read, the most disciplined man I've ever researched. This is why they had to get rid of him. It wasn't about how he thought back then. When J. Edgar Hoover, I think he was the head of the FBI, said that they fear they got to get rid of Malcolm because he could turn into a black messiah. It wasn't about the things that he was saying then. When he was saying stuff like earlier on, when he was more aggressive towards his disdain for, let's say, white people and accepting the teachings that white people were blue-eyed devils. They didn't have to get rid of him because of that. That's easy to handle. They had to get rid of him because they knew what he would develop into. See, nobody was scared of Pac when he's doing all this hit him up goofy stuff. It's when he makes the songs that you actually feel and can learn from, the changes. So going back to Malcolm, they didn't fear him then, they feared what he would become. They feared the influence, the development that he would have, and how influential and impactful that would be for not only just young black kids and older the black community, but across the board. And they gave us Jay-Z's. Just like they gave us Barack. And do we think it's just going to get better and correct itself? I don't know. Maybe that's a long cycle. Now what do we have? Instead of the Jay-Z's, it's just gotten worse and worse. As far as the poison that they're giving us. Now it's to the point where the kids now, the music that they're not dumbing down anything. They're just dumb. Because Jay-Z dumbed down his music when he knew better, now he spread that poison, and now he's just created a group of entertainers and influencers for the community that are just dumb. At what point are we going to take a stand and not accept this across the board? At what point is just being a good person going to supersede your political group affiliation? At what point is just being a good person going to mean more than, yo, you Democrat, you Republican, you Crip, you Blood, you GD, you BD? You see how goofy it looks? We're all the same. At what point are we going to prioritize people's morals, values, and principles over their favorite sports team? And I'm joking around with the favorite sports team, right? But that is how fanatical we are when it comes to supporting these parties and supporting these politicians. Bro, they're all terrible. And matter of fact, even if you don't think they're terrible, they bring out the worst in us. So therefore, it's not good for us. People that bring out the worst in a group that is supposed to be a cohesive group, we're Americans. Right? When we're watching the Olympics, we're not saying like, yo, is that swimmer, she Democrat or is she Republican? She conservative? Yo, is that gymnast dude, yo, the one that was on that black guy, the gymnast dude, yo, is he woke? He one of them woke cats? We are one. The people that are trying to separate us are the people that we should not trust. We should not give them battery in their backs. We should not empower them. We should not be empowering MSNBC. It's very simple. Yo, y'all keep pushing out these extreme narratives and this extreme rhetoric. It's cool. I don't got to say anything. I'm just going to turn the channel. We keep just like no different than we get on people listening to these goofy rappers, right? It's to the point now where I'll be totally honest. I don't know who's worse for the community, some of these goofy rappers or Joy Reid. I don't know. Because like we said with the Jay-Z, like, yo, y'all kind of, are people worse who know better and decide to do worse and decide to spread poison? Or people that just are naive and they prey on the fact where they come from, the poverty they come from, so they dangle, you know, a nice carrot, some money in front of them. I don't know who's worse. But when you know better, you're supposed to do better, right? Isn't that biblical where they say that that to whom much is given, much is more is, y'all know what I'm talking about. Isn't that biblical? So we may not look at it like, oh, me watching Fox is such a negative thing. Yes, it is. It's terrible because it's bringing out the worst in your neighbors. It's bringing out the worst in your community. It's causing us to hate each other, causing us to fight each other. Causing us, all this stuff is leading to this inflation. All this stuff is just bad. It's bad across the board. But until we do what Queez tells us to do and become the change that we want to see in the rest of the world, nothing will change. We will not move the needle at all. So I don't have a positive message to finish up this show with. I really don't. I really don't. Maybe before bed, we should all think about how we are all, myself included, contributing to in 3 months when we go to vote, the next day, half of the country is going to hate the other half. And it's not just going to stop there because the news stations, they're going to keep feeding into it. Why? Because they want you to keep watching them. So one news station is going to tell you, yo, this is messed up. This is terrible. The other news station is going to say, this is great. We just saved the country. It's bad. We're in a bad place, a very chaotic place. But maybe sometimes things just have to get bad for the people that are capable of making a difference finally feeling the need to stand up. Finally feeling the need to voice their opinion, to be heard, to be felt, to contribute in a positive way to the betterment of society. Maybe with all this chaos, we always hear it, chaos brings opportunity, right? So maybe there are some opportunities that do come up. Maybe with everybody being so chaotic, there's an opportunity for people to say, look, man, I know I'm Democrat. I know you're Republican. I know I'm Republican. I know you're Democrat, but this is foolish. I actually align more with you than these crazies at the extreme ends of my party. Why am I going to war with you? Yo, we're in the same kind of financial situation. Why am I beefing with you and I'm supporting this other person who... If we can start by coming together on principles, values, and integrity, and establish a foundation on that, everything else will take care of itself. We've lost our foundation. We have no foundation. And with no foundation, we can get misled and misguided anywhere. So that's all I got for y'all today. So we're going to finish off with 30 seconds. You use the time to visualize, to meditate, do whatever you need to do. But I want everybody to appreciate the effed up position that we as a team, our country is in right now. Because if we don't, we're going to turn around and be living under some very extreme circumstances that seem to come out of nowhere. And I don't know if we are built for that. Matter of fact, I know we are not built for that as humanity. But I'm talking to the group now, the people that are here right now. I don't know if we are equipped to deal with the repercussions of all of our actions. America can easily become one of these scary places that we look from our bubble, our moral high ground. Look what's going on over there in North Korea. Look what's going on over there in China. Look what's going on over there in the look. Things can change quickly. And we can easily be that country that other countries are looking at like, damn, y'all see what's going on over there? If we are not conscious and realistic and very accurate when it comes to evaluating America and the country that we are in and the country that we have contributed to creating a lot of this chaos. So 30 seconds, eyes closed if you're in a safe place. And, just think maybe. Just think. Go. All right. Do me a favor. Like before you head out. Share with a group. If you like the message, if you appreciated the message, definitely share it with some of your people. I know it was a little bit of a different energy than it typically is. I want to be very clear. I'm not discouraged, but I want to be honest with y'all. I'm not discouraged. I'm not discouraged. I'm not necessarily encouraged. I understand that when you break it down, like Queez always says, when you just got to be the change, it simplifies everything. But, and not to say but, and you always hope that will be enough in order to influence others. So therefore you can create that compounding effect, snowball effect of actually making a difference that matters throughout the world, throughout America. But first things first, we just got to start with ourselves. So with that, onward and upward, strength and honor. Y'all know what it is. We're here to elevate on purpose, doing what we need to do in order to become who we need to become, to lead. We need leaders now more than ever. We need leaders by action, all different types of leaders. And it doesn't mean that you got to be at the forefront of whatever movement you're pushing. You could take a leadership role in following somebody else and following and just contributing however you need to contribute. So on that note, I'll see y'all soon. It's Wednesday, halftime. Let's make sure that we're getting to the bag, so therefore we can make this one of our greatest weeks ever, one of our most accomplished weeks ever. And then we can enjoy the weekend. So with that, I shall see y'all on Friday for the wake up at 8 a.m. And appreciate y'all. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.